So we'll look at it. Look at it. Cost classification, how to classify cost. Then codification, how to codify cost. Then segregation and estimation. That is what we'll be looking at. Last week, I introduced the classifications, the various ways you can classify cost. So let's run through it before we continue with the codification and the segregation. Okay, we said to understand cost. To understand this very well, we need to understand the types of organizations. We said the following classification of organization is useful for the purpose of learning about costs. If you understand the organization very well, you'll be able to learn, you'll be able to understand cost better. So we said we have manufacturing organizations and we have service organization. Then we said system of costing in manufacturing organization. Now we are looking at cost in manufacturing organization. Types of production, examples, and costing system. In an organization where they produce identical or similar products in large number. For example, bottled soft drink. They produce bottled soft drink in large number. The type of costing system that will be used in such environment is batch costing. Batch costing. Then in a manufacturing organization where identical products in large amounts by passing the product through a series of processes. Now they produce it in large amounts, but it passed through series of processes. One department will have to do something, and then pass it to another department to do something on the product before the product will finally be produced. For example, pharmaceuticals. In pharmaceuticals, you have the lab that will test, the section that will produce the product, and then another part that will package the product. So this one will pass through series of process. The same thing with paint. Companies that produce paints, the paint will pass through series of processes. The same thing with petroleum. So the type of costing that will be used in such environment is process costing. Is process costing. Then for the production of identical product in large numbers, you produce identical product in large numbers, but now customized. These products are customized in some way for different customers. If they are customized, you are producing it for specific customers. For example, aircraft, which may vary in internal fit and external painting. You see, just like aircraft, but this one you are producing it for a particular customer and you are changing some specifications. The internal fitting will not be like the general ones you are producing. The painting will not be the normal painting that other aircraft has. If you also have your own brand food for supermarket, producing food that is branded, your own brand, and you're producing it for supermarket. So the type of costing that is adopted here is job costing. Job costing. But for a service industry, organization that doesn't produce any product, what they do is provide services. You provide services. So for such organization, for example, like the training and education institutions, they don't produce any product to sell. What they provide is services, and they get paid for their services. They get paid for the service they produce. Then the healthcare, the same thing with the healthcare sector. If you go to the hospital, you see a doctor, he provides services, professional services, and you pay for these services. Travel and tourism, these are services provided. They are not products that you will exchange your resources for, but they are services that you can feel. Financial services, entertainment, all these are service organizations. They don't produce any product, but they provide services, and you paid for this to enjoy these services. Then we have cost object. What is cost object? Cost object. We said any activity for which a separate cost measurement of cost is needed. So any activity that is being carried out for which a separate measurement of cost is needed is the cost object. Are you producing pen? You spend cost in producing pen, then pen will be the cost object. Then the cost of a product, that is the cost of a product, the cost of a service, cost of a department, the cost of a project. So these are examples of cost object. These are examples of cost object. The cost of a product, the product you are producing, the cost you incur to produce that product is the cost object. If you are providing a services, the cost of that services is the cost object. Then cost of a department, the cost of a project, the cost you put in to a project is the cost object. So now we also have cost unit. Cost unit. We say a unit of a product or service for which costs are determined. Now the cost unit is a unit of product or service for which costs are determined. And then we also have unit cost. Cost unit and unit cost are two different things. Cost unit is a unit of product or service for which costs are determined. Then the unit cost is the cost incurred by a company to produce, store, and sell one unit of a particular product. This includes all fixed costs and all variable costs involved in the production. Then we have examples of cost objects and cost units. Industry activity, car manufacturing, a company that manufactures cars. The cost object there is the cars produced. That is the cost object. The car they produce is the cost object. Then the cost unit is a car. One car, a single car produced is the cost unit. Then another example is bakery. A bakery industry, the cost object is the bread produced. The bread that is being produced is the cost object. Then the cost unit, a batch of bread items. A batch of bread items. Then steelworks, company that engage in steelworks, the cost object is the steel produced. And the cost unit is ton of steel. Then we have sorry, carpet manufacturer, company that manufactured carpets, the cost object is the carpet produced. The carpet that the company produced is the cost object. Then the cost unit is the square meter of carpet. What costs to produce a square meter? So the square meter of carpet is the cost unit. Then the same thing with university institution. The cost object is the cost teaching. The cost of teaching is the cost object. Then the cost per student is the cost unit. The cost per student is the cost unit. Then cost classification. You classify costs in various ways. Cost classification. Cost can be classified in a number of ways, including one, its function. You look at the functions of the cost. You can classify cost based on its function. And in this sense, you can classify it into either production or non-production cost. If it is a cost that goes into production, you term it production cost. If it is a cost that goes into other aspects other than the production, direct production aspect, you can classify it as non-production. Example, selling cost, distribution cost, administration cost, and finance cost. These are examples of non-production. But you see, when you are dealing with direct labor, direct materials, all these you can refer them to as production cost. Are we together? Hello, class. Are we together on this?
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is good. That is good. Okay. Then you can also classify cost according to the way the cost behave. That is cost behavior. You can classify cost according to its behavior. One, we have fixed cost. When cost is fixed, when cost does not change according to level of activities, when it remains static, when it remains fixed, we call it fixed cost. Now we are classifying it according to the way it behaves. It is fixed and we call it fixed cost. It does not change. Then we have variable cost. Variable cost is the cost that change with the levels of activities. When activities increase, variable cost increase. When activities reduce, variable cost reduce. So now we call it variable cost because of its behaviors, because it varies with the level of activities, so we call it variable cost. Then we have direct costs. These are costs that can be directly traceable to a product. The cost that can directly be traceable to a product is referred to as direct cost. Then we also have period cost. It behaves periodically. We refer to it as period cost. Then you can also classify cost by elements. You can also classify cost by element. Example, material cost. The cost of materials, you can refer to it as material cost. That is now by elements. We have labor cost. The cost of labor that is incurred in producing the product or goods or services is the labor cost by elements. Then we have the overhead cost. These are the mostly indirect costs associated with the product or services. Then we have cost behavior. The cost behavior, it is what we have said. We said the cost can behave in a fixed way or in a variable way. So we have fixed cost and variable costs. So this one here is the explanation of the variable cost. We say variable cost is a cost that change or vary with the level of activity. Variable cost increases in proportion to the level of activity. If activity increase, variable cost increase. If activity reduce, variable cost reduces. So that is variable cost. It changes with the level of activity. And we have semi-variable cost. All these are cost behavior. Semi-variable cost. This is a cost that is partly fixed and partly variable. At some point, it's fixed. At some point, it becomes variable. It is known as semi-variable cost. It is not totally variable and not totally fixed. We refer to it as semi-variable cost. Then we have fixed cost, which is a cost that do not change with the level of activity. Fixed costs remain constant regardless the level of activities. Fixed cost does not change because the level of activities changes. Then we also have step cost. We also have step cost. Step cost is a cost which has a fixed cost behavior. That is step cost now. It has a fixed cost behavior pattern within a limited range. So for a range, it is fixed. Within a limited range of activities, then goes up or down in steps when the volume of activity rises above or falls below certain levels. So it has a pattern, a movement pattern. At first, for some limited range, it is fixed. Then after that, when the volume goes up, it also goes up. When the volume comes down, it comes down. We have some examples here to give you. Look at this first example of semi-variable cost. A company uses a photocopier machine under a rental agreement. The photocopier rental cost is 4,000. So now you see, the rental cost is 4,000 naira per month, plus 2 naira per copy produced. The company makes 15 copies during a month. So now this is an example of semi-variable cost. A company uses a photocopier machine under a rental agreement. The photocopier rental cost is 4,000 per month, plus 2 copy, plus 2 naira, plus 2 naira per copy produced. So the company makes 15 copies during the month. So now, if you look at it, the fixed component of this is 4,000. The company pays 4,000 naira per month. Then per copy is 2 naira. Per copy is 2 naira. And then in this case, the company makes 15 copies. They make 15 copies during the month. So now out of this, 4,000 is fixed. When it produces 4,000 is fixed, the company will pay 4,000. Then in excess of 4,000, 2 naira will be charged. In excess of 2,000, 4 naira will be 2 naira will be charged. Okay, so now if you are to determine the cost here, the rental cost, which is a bit, we will say the fixed components, which is the fixed cost, will be what? The 4,000. the 4,000 naira. You have 4,000 naira. Then 15 copies are 2 naira. This one is variable. 2 naira by 15 copies. 15 copies was made at 2 naira. Sorry, even this is 15,000. Okay, 15,000 copies. So now 2 times 15,000. Someone should help us do the calculation. Do the arithmetic, please. Two times 15,000. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2 times 15,000. This is an example of a variable cost. Part of the component is fixed and part is variable. The fixed component is 4,000. Then we learned that a copy is 2 naira and 15,000 copy is produced. So that is the variable component. So 2 times 15,000. This will give us 30. So 30,000 plus 4,000. 4,000 plus 30,000 will be what? 34,000. So this is the semi-variable cost. This example of semi-variable cost. Okay. So the next one, example of a step cost. Look at the example of a step cost. Step cost. A company might pay its supervisors a salary of 20,000 naira each month. When product is less than, sorry, this is less than, when product is less than 2,000, hours, each month, only one supervisor is needed. Only one supervisor is needed. When it is less than 2,000 hours, only one supervisor is needed. When production is between 2001 and 4,000 hours, each month, 2 supervisors are needed. When output is over 4,000 hours, when it is above 4,000 hours, each month, 3 supervisors are needed. So this is example of step cost. Then it says the cost profile. How will the cost profile be? First, let me create a space here. Okay, so this is how it will be. The activity taking place first, 2,000 hours. When it is 2,000 hours, only one supervisor will be needed. So when we have the first one, 2,000 hours, only one supervisor needed, and that 2,000 hours, one supervisor needed, and it's 20,000 for the supervisor. 2,000 hours. When 2,000 hours is needed, only one supervisor will be required, and the pay for the supervisor is 20,000. So 1 times 20,000 is still 20,000 when one supervisor is needed. Then when it is above 2,000 hours, when the production is between 2001 now, the production is 2001, 2 supervisors will be needed. So for 2001 hours, it is 2 supervisors that will be needed and supervisor 20,000. So when production hours is 2,100 hours, 2 supervisors will be needed. And the cost for each supervisor is 20,000. So now the cost will increase. 2,000 times 20,000, you will have 4,000. This is example of step cost. The cost will now be 40,000. And it says the range between the 2001 to 4,000. When it is 2001 to 4,000, when it is 2001 hours, 2001 to 4,000 hours. Good. So 40,000, 2 supervisors will be needed. But when it is above 4,000 hours, when it is 4,000 hours and above, or over 4,000 hours, when it is over 4,000 hours, 3 supervisors will be required. When the output is over 4,000, when the output is over 4,000 hours each month, 3 supervisors are needed. So now it is 3 supervisors that will be required at 20,000 per supervisor. So now it will be 3 times 20,000, you will have 60,000. So this is an example of a step cost. This is an example of a step cost. Do you understand it? Do you understand these 2 examples? Semi-variable cost and the step cost?
I don't understand this stepped cost. I don't know if
Look
you
at
can
the
come
question.
again, sir.
Okay, look at it. We say step cost. I explain the step cost. I said it is the pattern. At a certain level, it is fixed. Step cost is a cost which has a fixed cost behavior pattern within a limited range. Look at it. From the question, you will see that within a range, it is fixed, and after that, it varies. Now, a company might pay its supervisors a salary of 20,000 each month. When the production is less than, this is production, sorry. When the production is less than 2,000 hours, so when the production is less than 2,000 hours, supervisor will be paid 20,000. Then only one supervisor is needed when the hours is within 2,000. If you are using 500 hours to 2,000 hours per month, only one supervisor will be needed. But if the hours increases from 2,000 to 2001, 2001 to 4,000 hours, you will need 2 supervisors. So one supervisor can handle 2,000 hours work. But when it is over 2,000 hours, you will need 2 supervisors. So 2 supervisors can handle from 2001 to 4,000. But when it is above 4,000, You will need additional supervisor, making 3 supervisors. And the cost for each supervisor is 20,000. So you see, if your production is 2,000 hours within a month, you only need 1 supervisor. So the cost will be 20,000 for supervisor, which is the first calculation here. The cost will be 20,000. But when the hours exceed 2,000 and it's 2001, between 2001 to 4,000 hours, you will need 2 supervisors. And the cost for each supervisor is 20,000. That is where we have these 2 times 20,000 that give us the 40,000. So when the production is within 1 to 2,000, it is fixed at that period. So it's only 1 supervisor you need, 2,000. But when it exceeds 2,000, and because 2001 to 4,000, you will need 2 supervisors. The cost will increase. And it will remain within that range until you exceed 4,000. So for the 2,000 hours, only 1 supervisor needed, we will spend 20,000. Therefore, 2001 to 4,000 hours work, we need 2 supervisors. And 2 supervisors at 20,000 per supervisor will give us 40,000 naira. That will be the cost for 2001 to 4,000 hours of supervisors. Then the third one, when it is over, it said when the output is over 4,000 hours each month, 3 supervisors are needed. So when it is over 4,000, 3 supervisors are needed. So that is where we have this. Okay, when over 4,000 hours, we need 3 supervisors at 20,000 per supervisor. That's what gives us this 60,000, the cost. So if you look at it, the step cost, the cost moved from 20,000 to 40,000 to 60,000. And if you look at the rate at which it is moving, it's adding by 20,000. That is the step. Do you get this?
Yes, I got it now. Thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome. So now we have direct costs. We say direct costs, these are costs that can be traced in full to a cost unit. You can be able to trace this cost in full to the product. So such costs, we refer to them as direct costs. A direct cost can be attributed in its entirety to the cost of an item that is being produced. For example, direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. These are the example of direct cost. Direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. Then prime cost. Prime cost is the sum of all of the direct costs of making that unit. So all the direct costs that you will incur in producing a product, if you add them all, it will give you what we call prime cost. If you are asked to determine prime cost, you look for all the direct costs that is involved in producing that product. When you add them together, they will give you prime cost. So direct material cost, direct labor cost, and direct expenses together will give you prime cost. So this is how you determine prime cost. You add all your direct costs, and that will give you prime cost. Then we have the indirect cost. Indirect cost, mostly we refer it to as overhead cost. It's any cost that is not a direct cost, e.g., indirect material, indirect expenses, and indirect labor costs. All costs involved in production that are not direct. You refer to them as indirect costs. Then cost code. Cost code. Cost code. A code is a collection of symbols used to reference a particular item. So how do you code cost? You codify cost, you give them codes. And this is what code is. It's a collection of symbols used to reference a particular item. For example, if you are preparing a budget, let's say school budget, and in the school you have breakdown of exam fee, for example, exams fee, you have medical fee, you have the tuition fee, you have. So you see now, if you want to quote this one now as revenue. They are source of revenue, not expenditure to the school. So now you can code this. You can say exams. Okay, if your revenue code start with 2 or 1, you can say exams is 1001. This is code. You can say medical is 1002. You can say tuition fee is 1003. So anywhere you see 1003, you don't need to see tuition fee. You know that it refers to your tuition fee. If you see 1001, you know that you are talking about exams fee. So this is cost code. Then you can say the expenditure code is 2. So you see if you have 2001, so maybe printing of exams, then 2002, you can say stationaries, purchase of stationaries or supply stationaries. So this example of code. So if you see any code that starts with 2, since you have already established that you know that any code that starts with 2 is expenditure. So it's on the expenditure side. When you see 1, it starts with 1, you know that is revenue. So this is just an example. So now look at it. Purpose of codes, cost codes. What is the purpose of creating code for cost? 1, assist the communication of precise information. So you see, this is one of the purpose. It assists in communication of precise information. It reduces clerical work. It reduces clerical work. E.g., if you create a code to be 123422, we replace the title selling expenses. If this is the code for selling expenses, instead of you to be writing selling expenses, you can write 13422. Whoever sees 13422, he knows that you are referring to selling expenses. Then it facilitates electronic data processing. Cost codes facilitate electronic data processing. Then see, facilitate a logical and systematic arrangement of costing records. It facilitates a logical and systematic arrangement of costing records. That is, accounts can be arranged in blocks of codes, permitting additional codes to be inserted. Incorporate check codes within the main code to check the accuracy of posting. You can just trace the codes to check the accuracy of posting. Then characteristics of a coding system. The characteristics of a coding system. One, coding system should be comprehensive, allowing every recorded item to be coded easily. So it should be made comprehensive and allow for coding to be recorded easily. Coding system should be comprehensive, allowing every recorded item to be coded easily. Each item, example, expenses type, should have a unique code. Just like the two that I gave you for example, for expenses, one for revenue. So there should be a unique code for each, for easy identification. Ideally, of uniform length and with each code built according to consistent rules. Give them the same length. If you are using 4 characters, you use 4 characters all through. And it should be unique so that you'll be able to identify what you are referring to. If one is 1002, another should be 1001, 1003, 1004. Let them be unique. Then the system should allow for expansion. Yes, you should be able to expand. It should be when more information come in, it should be able to accommodate more information. So you should be able to expand it. Then the allocation of code references should be tightly controlled with strict protocols over additions, deletion, or changes to code. So you see, you put strict protocols so that unnecessary additions cannot be made. Unnecessary deletions cannot be made and changes without authorization. You have to secure it to make sure that every addition or deletion or changes follows due procedures. Because if anyone can add or delete, then the information will be distorted. Then product cost and period cost. Product cost and period cost. What is product cost? Product costs are costs associated with goods that are produced or purchased for resale. That is product cost. Costs that are associated with goods that are produced or purchased for resale. Then period costs are costs that are deducted as expenses during a particular period. That is period cost. The costs that you deduct as expenses during particular periods, they are referred to as period cost. Any question? Do you have any question? If no question, the next thing we'll be looking at is cost segregation. So you're all clear about this? Okay, so now let's look at the cost segregation. Introduction to cost segregation. Analyzing fixed and variable costs. A total cost associated with a business or a part of a business, for example, a production line, are the sum of the fixed cost and the variable cost. So when you are talking about total cost, you are talking about fixed cost and variable cost combined. That will give you total cost. There are techniques available to split the total cost of a business or part of a business into fixed and variable costs. In a situation where you have only total cost, and from this total cost, you want to determine which part is fixed and which part is variable, there is techniques that you can use to do that. And that is what we refer to as cost segregation. This is known as cost segregation. Total cost can be divided into fixed cost and variable cost per unit of output or unit of activity. A formula for total cost is Y. This is a straight line equation. Y is equal to A plus BX. Y is equal to A plus BX, where Y is the total cost, A is the fixed cost, and B is the variable cost. As you can see it here, where Y is the total cost in a period, X is the numbers of unit of output or the volume of activity in the period, and then the A, the fixed cost in the period, then B, the variable cost per unit of output, unit of activity. So if you want to separate total cost into fixed and variable cost, we have two methods that we can use. One is called high and low method. High and low analysis, or high and low method. Then the second one, we have linear regression analysis. That's the second method. So you can use either of these two methods to carry out cost segregation. So the high and low analysis can be used to estimate fixed cost and variable cost per unit. Whenever this exists, one, there are figures available for total cost. So you cannot determine it when there is no total cost. You should know this. There are figures available for total cost at two different levels of output and activities. Then secondly, it can be assumed that fixed costs are the same in total at each level of activity. That's an assumption. You assume that fixed costs are the same in total at all levels of activity. Then the third one, the variable cost per unit is constant at both levels of activity. The variable cost is constant at both levels of activity. So if you have this, then you can use the high and low method to carry out the cost segregation. The high and low analysis use two historical figures for cost. This is the two historical figures that high and low analysis use. One, the highest recorded output. You take the highest recorded output level and its associated total cost. You identify the highest recorded output level and its associated total cost. Then secondly, the lowest recorded output, level and its associated cost. So these are the two historical figures that we use in high and low analysis. So if we're carrying out the cost segregation using the high and low analysis, this is what is expected of you. Step one. This is step one. They are in steps here. This is step one. Let me see. Step one, take the activity level and cost. That is the first thing you will do. Take the activity level and cost. The highest activity level and the lowest activity level. Now you take them, you identify them from the data that will be given to you. The first step you will do, identify the highest level of activities and its cost. Then secondly, identify the lowest level of activities and its associated cost. Then the next thing you will do, that's step two. The variable cost per unit can be calculated. This is how you calculate the variable cost per unit. The difference in total cost, you find the difference in total cost and the difference in numbers of units, you will divide it. You get the difference in total cost, the difference in numbers per unit, then you divide it. That will give you the variable cost per unit. Then step 3, having calculated a variable cost per unit of activity, fixed cost can be calculated by substitution into one of the cost expressions. The difference between the total cost at this level and the total variable cost at this level of activity is the fixed cost. So when you substitute it into the equation, the difference you get is the fixed cost. So now, number 4, construct the total function. You construct the total function. So now we're going to pick a function, then you will see how this is applied. All these steps, 1, 2, 3. For example, now we have example. The question, entity Z is trying to obtain a cost estimate for the cost of repairs. The following monthly repair costs have been recorded for the past 6 months. So this is the record. Month, first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, and the 6th month. The number of machines repairs. In the first month, 38 was repaired. In the second month, 41. In the third month, 25. The fourth month, 21. In the fifth month, 36. And in the 6th month, we have 30. Then this is the cost. This is the cost of repairs. This is the cost of repairs for the first month at 1,000, second month at 2,700, the third month 86,500, the fourth month 83,600, the fifth month 29,900, and the sixth month is 28,900. So required. This is what you are required. Use high and low analysis to estimate the fixed cost of repairs each month and the variable cost per machine repair. So now to use the high and low, we said the first thing you will identify the highest and the lowest. So now look at the numbers of machine repairs. At which one do we have the highest? At what one do we have the highest machine repairs? Hello, class. Are you with me?
Yes, sir, we are here.
Let's be talking, please. The highest. Look at the number of machines repairs. Which one is the highest? The highest.
41.
41 is the highest. Thank you. So 41 is the highest. Now, if you pick 41, we are going to pick 41. Let me open where we will do the calculation. This is another sheet where we will carry out the calculation. Okay, so we are taking the highest, and we say the highest, the unit is 41. And then we also have the cost. Let's see the cost. This is the unit 41. The cost is 32,700. For the 41, is 32,700. So we have it there. We have 32,700, 41, 32,700. Then which is the lowest? We have identified the highest now. So which is the lowest number of machine repairs?
$21.
The lowest is 21. And with the corresponding cost of 23,600. The lowest is 21, the corresponding cost of 23,600. The highest one is 41,000 with the corresponding cost of 32,700. The lowest 21 with the corresponding cost of 23,600. So now we'll come here and say 21 with the corresponding cost of 26. Where is it? 23,600. 23,600. So this is it. So now we find the difference. That is what the step tell us. So for 1,000 minus 1,000. Minus 21,000 from 41,000. What do you get? You get 20. What is going on? Hello? So for the cost, 32,700 minus 23,600. Be coming to this class with calculator, please. 32,700 so that you'll be participating. When you are participating, you will understand it better. So for the cost now, this is the unit. And then this is the cost. And then this is the low. So now the difference, 32,700 minus 23,600, you have 9,100. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing you will do now, after this, when you get the difference, now you will find the variable cost per unit. That's the next thing you will do. You get to get the variable cost per unit. So how do you get the variable cost per unit? Step 2 says you compare the difference. And that's the difference we have gotten. Units, highest and low. Unit, we find the difference to be 20 and 91. So now, to get the variable cost per unit, variable cost per unit, to get it now, we will say the 9,100 divided by 20. If you divide this, what someone should help us divide this. 9,100 divided by 20 will give us 455. So this is the cost per unit. So now if you get this now, step 3, you substitute the cost into one of the cost functions. And we said the cost function where we have y is equal to a plus bx. And we say y is the total cost. We say y is the total cost, a is the fixed cost, b is the variable cost, and x is the unit. The unit produced. So now we use this formula for the highest, which is 41. For the highest, which is 41 units, our total cost is 32,700. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So you have,
Yes.
okay, so now 32,700 is the total cost. Then our fixed cost. Our fixed cost. We don't know our fixed cost. And that is what we are going to determine. We are to determine our fixed cost. So now, for the 1,000, sorry, for the 41 is 32,500. Sorry, let me take it this way. Total cost of 41 units. Total cost of 41 units. Total cost of 41 units is the fixed cost. The fixed cost, which is a, let me use this, fixed cost plus the variable cost. The fixed cost plus the variable cost is what gives us the fixed cost plus the variable cost is what gives us the total cost of this unit, which is 32,700. It is 32,700. And our cost per unit is 455. Our cost per unit is 455. So now we have the total cost, 32,700 is equal to the fixed cost A, we don't know, plus sorry, 9,800. So now the fixed cost plus our variable cost, we have 9,100 by what is the cost per unit? 455 naira is equal to the total cost of 32,700. 32,700. So now 9,100 times 455,000. Hello?
So we lost you for a minute there. It was, I think, network was hanging.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me take it all over again. Okay, look at it now. The total cost of 41 units. What is the total cost of 41 units? To determine the total cost of 41 units, you take 41, multiply it by the 450 naira is the variable cost per unit. So now our fixed cost plus is equal to the total cost at 2,700. So now the fixed cost, you can also label it FC plus 41 times 455.
18,655. 18,655.
18,655. Thank you. 18,655 is equal to 32,700. So now to get our fixed cost, we can collect lifetimes. And the lifetimes are 18,655 and 32,700 from this equation to determine to get the FC, which is the fixed cost. So now you can say the FC, which is the fixed cost, is equal to 32,700 minus 18,655. 18,655 is equal to. So do the minus 32,700 minus 18,655.
14,045.
14,045. Thank you. So this will be our fixed cost now. So the FC, which is the fixed cost, is equal to 14,045. So this is the fixed cost. Is that clear? Do you all get this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the fixed cost. So now, if we are to apply this, We know our fixed cost now. Our fixed cost is 14,045 naira. So now what we apply this y is a plus bx. So now the total cost of 32,700 is equal to our fixed cost of 14,045. Then plus b, which is our variable. And then the per unit we have per unit, which is 455. 455. So now to determine the variable units, we say 32,700 is equal to 14,045 plus b times 455. We have 455a. Then if we collect like that, 32,700 minus 14,045 is equal to 455b. 32,700 minus 14,000. 32,700 minus 14,045 naira. Hello? Hello, class?
We can hear you, sir. We lost you for a while. We can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
No, sir, we lost you for a while. Can hear
Okay.
you now.
Okay. Let me see the screen to be shared. Okay. Good. Okay. So now user allow estimate the fixed cost. Now we have seen the fixed cost. This is the fixed cost. This is the fixed cost 14,045. Using the high and low, you find the difference, the highest, the unit and the total cost. Then below the unit and the total cost, you find the difference. This is the difference of the unit 20, the difference of the total cost 9,100. Then you determine the variable cost per unit by dividing the total, the unit cost, the total cost by the unit. The total cost by the total unit, you have 455 naira as the unit variable cost. That's the variable cost per unit. So adopting this formula, you have the total cost of 41 unit, then fixed cost 41 times the 455 naira, that is the per unit cost, then equal to the 32,700, the total higher cost. Then you find the difference. You collect like times by finding the difference, the 32,700 minus 18, 655. That is what will give you the 14,045 naira. So this is the fixed cost, as the question implies. Now we've determined the fixed cost for the price of each month, the variable cost of machine repair. Then estimate expected cost of repairs in a month when 30 machines are repaired. So now you estimate the cost of repairs in a month when 30 machines are repaired. So since you know the variable cost, you know the variable cost. So to get the total cost now, to get the total cost or the expected cost of repairs, we know our variable cost, we know our fixed cost. 14,045 plus 30, this is 30 units multiplied by the unit cost. It's equal to. So now we have 14,045 plus 30 times 455. Multiply 30 by 455. You have 13,650. When you add this, you get the cost for 30 units, for 30 units. Expected cost for repairs of 30 machines. So this is it. So now when you add this together, what are we going to get? Plus 14,045. So we have 27,695. So this is for repairs of party machines. So this is it for this question. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me put it in full. Okay, so now let's see the next thing. If you understand this, we are done. Let's see the next thing to do. So the next one is linear regression. We have two methods, the high and low. We'll just look at the high and low method now. So the next one is the linear regression analysis. Linear regression analysis. Okay. Linear regression analysis is a statistical technique for calculating a line of best fit from a set of data. Linear regression analysis is a statistical technique for calculating a line of best fit from a set of data. The same straight line equation, y is equal to a plus bx. The data is in pairs, which means there are different values for x, and for each value of x, there is an associated value of y. You have x, you have associated value of y in the data. Linear regression analysis can be used to estimate fixed costs and the variable cost per unit from historical data for costs, for total cost. It is an alternative to the high and low method. So you can use it to carry out cost separation. Differences between linear regression analysis, high and low. So this is the difference that exists between the two. High and low analysis uses just two sets of data for x and y. It uses just two sets of data. The highest value for y and the lowest value x. Linear regression analysis uses as many sets of data for x and y, which we are going to look at. For x and y as are available. Then, secondly, because linear regression analysis calculates a line of best fit for all the available data, it is likely to provide a more reliable estimate than high and low analysis for the values of A and B, the fixed and the variable cost. Still, in addition, regression analysis
Please, sir,
can be
your line is breaking and we can't hear you. Sir, your line is breaking. Please, we can't hear you.
okay. Can you hear me now?
No, it's still breaking, please.
Can you hear me now, please?
Yes.
Okay. So we are looking the differences between the high and low method and the regression analysis. We say high and low analysis uses just two sets of data, as we have seen. We only take the highest and the lowest. But the linear regression uses as many sets of data for X and Y as are available. Then secondly, because linear regression analysis calculates a line of best fit for all the available data, it is likely to provide a more reliable estimate than the high and low analysis. So the linear regression is likely to provide a more reliable estimate than the high and low, because it is used to calculate the line of best fit, and it uses more data than the high and low. Then in addition, regression analysis can be used to assess the extent to which values of Y depends on value of X. That is regression. You can use it to assess the values, the extent of values of which X depends on Y. Then regression analysis uses more complex arithmetic than high and low. There is more calculation in regression analysis.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please, I can't see the Excel.
Okay, can you see it now? Can you see it now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now we say regression analysis uses a more complex arithmetic than the high and low analysis. A calculator or small spreadsheet model is normal. Using calculator or small spreadsheet model. So the linear regression analysis has more calculation than the high and low. The high and low is somehow straightforward and direct. So now linear regression analysis, one, it is reliable. Two, its reliability can be measured. You can measure the reliability of linear regression. It uses more data, so it is reliable than the high and low method. So this is the formula for the linear regression. This is the formula. A is equal to summation y all over n minus b summation x all over n. Then b is equal to n summation xy minus summation x summation y all over n summation x square minus summation x open bracket summation x close bracket square. So where x, y values of pairs of data, and the number of pairs of values of x and y. Then this is a sign of minimum of the summation sign is a sign meaning sum. So how to approach such questions? How to approach such questions? Set out the pairs of data in columns. Before you start solving, set out the pairs of data in column, with one column for values of x and the second column for associated values of y. A column for x square. Calculate the square of each value of x and enter the value in the x square. Then set up a column for xy, and for each pair of data, multiply x by y and enter the value in xy column. sum each column, enter the values into the formula, and solve for B, then A. It must be in this order. It must be in this order. You have to start finding in this order. It must be in this order, as you need B to find A. You need B to find A. So you start solving for B. Then example, this is an example. A company has recorded following output level and projected cost in the past 6 months. The month January, February, March, April, May, and June. Then the unit 5.8, 7.7, 8.2, 6.1, 6.5, and 7.5. Then for the total cost, 40.3, 47.1, 48.7, 40.6, 44.5, and 47.1. So required, construct the equation of a line of best fit for this data. So that's what we'll be doing. We are going to find B, and then we will find A. So we'll start with step 1. That says we should have a column for X and Y. So the second one, second solution. We have column X and we have Y. We have X, Y. So now let's look at the arrangement here. We have Y, X. This is X. This will be X, and this will be Y. So the output unit is X, and the total cost is Y. This is how we label it. Okay. So now let's look at it. In our column, we have 5.8, 7.7 from here. 5.8, 7.7. 7.7, 8.2, 6.1, 6.5, 7.5. This is for X. This is it. 5.8, 7.7, 8.2, 6.1, and 6.5, then 7.5. And this one, let me even copy it here. Good. Okay. So this is it. So we have our X and Y. Then we have X squared. X squared. X squared. Then we have XY. You look at the formula will guide you. Based on the formula, it will guide you on how to construct this table. This is the formula. So these are the things you'll be needing. You'll be needing summation of Y. You'll be needing summation of X. You'll be needing XY, summation of XY, and you'll be needing X squared. Good. So now at it. The calculator there will carry out this calculation. The first X, what is the one? 5.8. Hello?
Well, with you, sir.
Please, you have a calculator there. Let's do it. 5.8 is what?
So I think we've lost you. Can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. So 5.8 times 5.8 times 5.8. And that will give you 33.64.
Sorry, sir. We've lost you again. Your voice is faint.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the next thing now is 7.7. So 7.7 squared. That's 7.7 times 7.7. What are we going to get? If you multiply 7.7 by 7.7, we'll have 59.29. Same thing goes to 8.2 square. 8.2 square is 8.2 times 8.2, which will give us 67.24. Then we have 6.1. 6.1 by 6.1, we'll have 37.21. Then we have 6.5 square. 6.5 square is 42.25. Then we have 7.5 square. 7.5 square is 56.25. So this is for this. Then the next one is x, y. This simply means x times y. X times y. For the first one, x times y is what? 233.74. Then 7 times 7 times 47.1. 362.67. Then we have 8.2 times 48.7. 8.2 times 48.7. We have 399.34. Then 6.1 times 40.6. 6.1 times 40.6. We have 247.66. Then next is 6.5 times 44.5. 6.5 times 44.5. We have 289.25. Then the last one is 7.5 times 47.1. We have 353.25. So the next thing to do now is to sum up this column. We sum up this column. So let's sum it up and see. You add this plus this plus this plus this. So you sum it up. Let me use this to sum it up. Sum this up. You also sum for y, you sum the column for y. You also sum for x squared. You sum for xy. So this is it. This one here, let me differentiate them. This is total. Let me bold this one. So you know that this is total. Good. So these are the total. This is what we refer to as summation x. When you come to your formula, when you see summation x, you substitute it with this. This is summation x. Then next, this is summation y. Summation y. Wherever we see summation y, we substitute it with this. Then this is summation x squared. If you do it this way, it will be easier for you to solve your question. Then this is summation xy. So this is xy. So look at it now. Using this formula that we have, we say we start finding b. We'll start by finding b. So to get the b, this is the formula. It says b is equal to n. N refers to the total number. Look at it. How many do we have? How many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we together?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, we have 6. So the
6.
number is 6. Will 6. We'll have 6. Good. So b is equal to 6. Then summation xy. Can you identify summation xy? What is the value?
1, 8. 1, 8. 8, 6.
Okay, thank you. Good. 1886. So here we will have bracket 1886 closing bracket. Then minus summation x. What's the value of summation x?
1.8.
Good. 41.8. Then we have summation y. What is the value of summation y?
268.3.
268.3. Good. Then we come down here. We have n, which is 6. Then we have summation x squared. So what is the value of the summation x squared?
295.9.
295.9. Good. minus, we have summation x square. We have summation x square. What is the summation x? Summation x. This is summation x. X square is
1.8.
good. 41.8. So is we have the square. So this is it. To determine B now. So now to determine B, to determine the value of B, we still say B is equal to x times 186 times 1886. Let's take brackets. What are we going to get? Let's use bracket 6 times 1886 will give us what?
11,316.
Okay, 11,316. Thank you. Then minus 41.8 times 268.3. 268.3.
1.8.
11,214. 11,214.94. Then let me separate this. Good. Then all over 6 times 295.5. 6 times 295.9. We have 1775. 1775.4. Then minus 41.8 square. 41.8 times 41.8 will give us 1747.24.
83.6.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, okay. I'm with you, sir.
Okay. So now let's find the difference between this. Next is equal to the value of B is equal to 11316 minus 11214.94. 11316 minus 11214.94. What do we get? I have 1.06. All over 17754 minus 1747.24. One 775.4 minus 1747.24 will give you 28.16. So B is equal to, so 101.6 divided by 28.6. 101.06 divided by 28.16. You have 3.5887. 3.5887. So now you know the value of B. So with this value of B now, you can determine the value of A. The formula for value of A says A is equal to summation Y. What is the value of summation Y from what we determine? What is the value? Summation Y is what?
268.3.
268.3.
8.3.
Yes. Then we have our B. The value of B that we've determined here is 3.5. So minus our B, which is 3. Okay, minus the B, yes, not in bracket, which is 3.5887. Then open bracket. What is the value of X, summation X? Summation X is what?
41.8.
41.8. 41.8. So we have this, and then all over N, which is 6. The same here, N, which is 6. So now 268, or let's break it first. Let's have the value of A still. Our A is equal to 268.3 minus 3.5887 times 41.8 times 41.8. Times 41.8. So it's 150. 150.007. So now all over 6. This is divided by 6. This is divided by 6. So now let's do the division. 268.3 divided by 6. 268.3 divided by 6 is 44.7166. Then minus 150.007 divided by 6. You have 25.001. So now 44.716 minus 25.001. That will give you the value of A. A is equal to, then you minus it, minus 19.7166. So your answer is 19.715. This is the value of A. Do you get this? This is the value of B and this is the value
Yes,
of
sir.
A. So this is the value using the linear regression analysis. So if you are substituting this into your straight line equation, y is equal to A plus bx. So you will have, your value of A and B. So you have your y is equal to, the value of A is 19.715 plus your B, the value of B is 3.5887 x. You've determined the value. So this is it. If you are given the quantity in units that the company will produce, you substitute that X by the quantity. When you multiply it, you get your total cost. So is that clear? Any question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go on.
No, sir, I don't have a question. You asked if it's clear, so
No
I said
question.
yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to give you an assignment.
For now, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'll give you an assignment. I'll give you an assignment. I will drop it on the WhatsApp. I think this is it for today. So I will give you an assignment on the, I'll put the assignment under this note. I'll put it here.
Okay, sir. Please, I want to ask something.
Okay, go on.
Hello, sir. Okay, please, I
Yes,
want
go
to
on.
ask the past
Okay.
question, the May the November diet 2025.
Y-
So I think
Yes.
there's this question there's this kind of question there. Can you help us to solve it is today or next class?
November.
November diet 2025.
Okay, that's the last diet.
Yes, yes.
If you have it, please send it to me through WhatsApp.
Okay.
You have the question?
I don't I have the question, but it's just for me to am I to snap or check the online to get it?
No, you can snap it and send it to me.
All right, I will do that. So am I to
Oh,
snap it here or the group chat?
you can send it at the group chat, no problem.
All right, thank you, sir.
You are welcome. So I will drop this assignment on the group, on the WhatsApp group, so that you attempt it. Just attempt it. Let's see the understanding level of the
And
assimilation.
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, I'm going to go through the note again and I'll just put down my question if I have any. So the next class I can share it. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay. It's very okay. It's okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Thank you. So I'll drop the assignment on the WhatsApp platform. So take care. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you.